Thank you, Saijit, for the introduction. And I welcome all the panelists to discuss this interesting topic today. And I think it's very relevant because we all have been student once. And we have been through the ups and downs of our student life. And then moving to a professional environment can be exciting and challenging. So in today's panel, we'll discuss everything from the challenges students face after completing their educational curriculum and then when they enter the professional world. So let's start the panel. And I'll start a panel with an interesting story. And I want all of you to share, like, how did you first, like, secure your first job in the industry? So we'll start with Garima. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ritika, for this. And I'm really honored and happy to be here. You said it just right, that, those butterflies in our stomach when we are trying to figure out our first job, going to the office for the first time, dressing up formally. And honestly, for me, it's not very long ago, that feeling. I keep channelizing and dipping into that feeling because I teach communications at some of the great colleges. I have, like, this audience has a lot of my students sitting here, so I'm very happy to have them here from IIMC, from Masters Union, from NDIM, and various other colleges. So because I teach interview readiness and communications day in and day out, I'm very much in touch with this. But I'll stick to the brief that you've given me, which is about my first job. So by God's grace, because I was at IIMC, campus recruitments in those days was really cool. So, and all of you, like majority of the industry would know Anup Sharma, right? So he used to be at Perfect Relations at that point of time. He was the one who interviewed me. He was the one who hired me at Perfect Relations. And for us, it was pretty much like a party because there were 13 of us who were picked up from the campus to join Perfect Relations at that point of time. And the initial, what happens at, okay, let me not take the agency. Now you know which agency. So a homegrown agency, one of the best agencies, the big ones, what they do is, ऐसे लेके गए, गर्दन से पकड़ के, you are just put in that pool. Now you think वो गंगा है, जमुना है, swimming pool है, जो समझना है समझ लो. Either you swim your way through and survive, or you, grapple, whatever it may be. Wherever we are today, we have a lot of help in terms of teaching, training, coaching, upskilling. There's a lot of this conversation that's there. Earlier, that was not the case. You would learn a lot on the job, and that's what we did. And the good thing was, after a month of surviving, so if you survived your first month, then you got the chance to meet the founder. And he was like, "Acha, बच गए तुम 30-40 दिन का अब आओ सांबा, now you come and meet Thakur." Right? That kind of a thing. And we used to cherish all of that. We used to cherish that grilling that, we used to go through. So that's my first message to all of you, for you to land that first job and be good at it. Like, just show up like a champion. Just show up in your full energy. Just show up in your full power and want it from the fire of your belly should show. And maybe that's what showed throughout. And here we are. Long answer to your short question. Moving on, Aman.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So I think very interesting story. I also come from the same pedigree. I was also thrown into the pool. That's another story. But before that, basically, I started my career in advertising after doing my MBA. And after that, in fact, so there was an in-house PR agency over there. And that time I realized that the growth of PR would be extremely fast. So I should make a switch to the PR side. So I went for a couple of interviews, and I met this gentleman called Mr. M.L. Call. Okay, he used to run this agency called Mel Call PR, which I think got acquired later on. So, and he was an old gentleman. So he said, "Why you want to come in PR? You're doing fine in advertising." I said, I think at this point of time, I can see that this industry is going to grow very well. And that's the reason why I should be here, because then I'll also grow along with the growth of the industry. So he said that in my 60s, when I joined the PR industry, I also had the same reason for joining the PR industry. But I'll tell you what, if you join the PR industry today, you will also have the same reason. It's just that the tactics are very, very different from what it used to be when I joined, or probably when that gentleman joined. So, that's how it is. Just a little anecdote on what she said. So in that agency, when you go, you are not told that where exactly are you going to land. So there's a mother agency, and then there are, a lot of allied agencies. So you are called in the mother agency, you get into the interview, you qualify, and then you are asked to report on a particular day. You report on that particular day in that office only, but then you discover, then you are escorted somewhere, and you land in some office. And then you realize which exactly is the agency where you've landed. So, it used to be very interesting at that point of time.
Before we bring in Aman, and I'm so sorry I'm butting in here, but one good thing is, see, we have our own agents. Like we are sitting and we are right now like the founders of our own ventures. So, wo jo wahan pe humne thodi si band bajwai, somewhere it paid off,
See,
right?
that's I would definitely say that that's the mother of the entire PR industry.
Yeah.
I mean, all the alumni of that agency, which is Perfect Relations, let me say that, which does not exist any longer, unfortunately. But the alumni of that industry actually rule the entire industry today, if you look at it. So, yeah, happy to be, part of that.
So I started my career as a journalist, and for me, preparation began, I think, 2 years ahead of, when I started my career. In the third year of my college, I decided, okay, I want to pursue journalism, and what do I need to do? I spoke to my professors. Novi Kapadia, who is no more there, was a very famous sports commentator, and Smita Mishra ma'am, who is also very passionate about sports reporting. So all they told me was just write, earn a lot of bylines, showcase your work, whatever you can. So I did a lot of writing, contributed to the college magazine. Wherever I could volunteer and write, I did. I did a post-graduation from Pioneer Media School in journalism. And again, during the whole year, I was contributing to various things. Also contributed to a paper which was launched called the Campus Paper. It was a visionary paper by Ajay Jain, who everyone knows as Kunzum founder. So, I used to get paid 500 rupees at that time per article. It used to be like really, really good. So by the time I actually went for my first interview, I had ample bylines, and in fact, I landed the first job in our institute, and it was for a little publication from Karnataka, Vijay Times, which was later taken over by the Times of India Group. I was interviewed by Vijay Sankeshwar, who was the MP from Karnataka, who owned this newspaper. But I think all I will say is that, volunteer a lot, contribute a lot, earn a lot of bylines. Even PR is all content actually. Showcase your research skills. I think that'll help you a lot, especially in landing your first job.
So thank you all for sharing your interesting stories of the starting of your career. But I think nowadays the industry has transformed a lot, and today's situation in the job market is quite different, like what you all have faced. So I want to know the challenges you might have seen, like the today's student face in getting the jobs, or what kind of mistakes they make in their resumes or interviews, and like how can they improve that so that they can sustain in the industry for the long term. So we'll start with Aman sir first.
Yeah, so see, I'll tell you, in fact, one of the problems that I faced when I interviewed children is that, so I asked this question that, so why do you want to be in PR? And you will not believe that almost 70 to 80% bachas said, because you know what, I like meeting people, but we are not in the business of meeting a lot of people. PR, public relations, has public in it. Public is basically the audience of the organization, and that audience could be fairly large. It could be an electorate. It could be like an entire middle class of the country or whatever. So would you meet so many people? You will not. It's about using the tools to be able to reach out to that public that the organization is trying to catch. Second thing is that, a lot of people that I meet these days now, and it's quite a thing for me, it's a shock for me. So I said, have you seen this newspaper called Mint? He said, what? I said, Mint. I said, yeah, okay. So, and if somebody says that, oh, I have seen Mint, then I say, have you seen the physical copy of it? Chances are that people have not. So, I'm not saying that PR is equal to media relations, but it's extremely important for you to know that media actually carries a lot of these messages for the audience. So my suggestion is that when you go for your interview, be very prepared in the sense that you do your research on the agency for which you are going for the interview. Try to read more and more about them. What is the kind of clients that they have, what kind of values, what's the recent event that they have done, or whatever. But try to know a lot about the agency. Second thing is that be aware of what's happening in the environment. So you should actually come across as a well-read person. Because what happens is that, in PR, so this is the only profession which actually allows you to meet the top management of your clients. And that's a huge privilege that you people are going to get when you're getting into your jobs. You get into sales career, marketing career, this career, that career. You'll probably take 2 decades to meet up with the CEO of the organization. But in the next 3-4 years, you'll be sitting in the office of a CEO. So how do you want to sound when you're sitting with a CEO? You want to sound intelligent, because you are representing yourself and you are representing your industry, your agency, or the organization that you're joining. So, these 2 things are extremely important. Knowing where you're going, know more about the industry, PR industry, when you're getting into a job, and then know about the overall business environment that's happening. I think these are the 3 most important things according to me. And have a very positive attitude. Honestly speaking, if you've read how to make press release, probably aap logon ko padhaya gaya hoga wo. Nobody ever asked, Aman can also say that, she's also, nobody ever asked, acha tum press release bana ke test do mujhe, main dekhta hu agar acha banaya to tumhara ho jayega selection. That doesn't happen. So it's your attitude towards the work that actually, so
I'll just add one more question to it. Do you think the student, like the present age students, have a correct, they know the correct definition of the industry? What is public relation and communications? Yeah, I think, yeah, it's a good idea. So I'll from the audience, I'll ask, is anyone interested in sharing what they know of public relation? How would they define it? And the panelists, our esteemed panelists.
Let me make your job easy. Give me a raise of hands if you understand what public relations is.
Yeah.
Just give me a raise of
hands.
hands.
And if you don't raise your hands, then you are not supposed to be here.
Okay, यार हम ना बहुत pressure डाल रहे हैं तुम्हारे ऊपर, ठीक है? First of all, chill. It's just a conversation. Good.
Yeah.
Give me a raise of hands if you understand what PR is, right? Thank you so much. Thank you. Give me a raise of hands if you do not understand what PR is. Right? Thank you so much for your honesty. Can we give a round of applause for her?
Yeah.
Because the rest of you are in middle somewhere. You're not raising hands if you know it. You're not raising hands if you don't know it. That's exactly what Aman is telling you. You've got to show up as who you are. You've got to speak your truth.
Yes.
Just repeat after me one thing, and that's the mantra of what we'll leave you with. How I do anything is how I do everything. Not good enough. Khada hona padega mujhe. How I do anything is how I do everything. Right? The ones who understand PR or do not understand PR, मुझे ना एक बड़ी master definition दी गई थी in my first 3 years of PR. Bobby Cable Ramani again, perfect relations में. हम आग लगाते हैं और हम आग बुझाते हैं. एक round of applause बनता है. Easiest definition of PR is, if there is fire, you're going to go and extinguish it. And if there's no fire, then you're going to figure out a way of ethically, professionally spinning things around and igniting a fire. That does not mean sensationalization. That does not mean wrong information. That just means that as people, can we weave a story in such a beautiful way that somebody else wants to have it. Right? How many of you now know what PR is? Give me a raise of hands. Do you understand what PR is? Right? और इसके बाद हम बहुत सारी बुक की बात कर सकते हैं.
Yes.
कि इन्होंने ये define किया था, वो define किया था, ऐसे था. I'm just saying top line, if you
You're
understand
right.
this much.
Yeah. See, basically, it is a complex thing, honestly speaking. So PRSA, which is PR Society of America, everybody was giving different definitions. So they called for a survey, and there were thousands of responses that actually came, and then they actually gave a definition of what PR is. And that's what I mean. When you are actually going for an interview, go and do Google. And you will get a lot of very interesting information that will make you look extremely intelligent in front of your interviewer. And that's what, see, interview is what? Like आधे घंटे में जाके interviewer को impress करना है यार, नौकरी मिल गई उसके बाद फिर तो अपन सीख लेंगे ना. So for that half an hour you have to kind of do a bit of a research.
Aman, what's your take on this?
I would just say that actually there are more opportunities today. It's not tough. There was no digital then. Digital actually started and shut down also during my time. So even like PR agencies, there were a handful of them. Advertising agencies were doing most of the job for the PR people. So there are a lot more opportunities today. As you can see, there are a lot of institutions also teaching communications. Even like the big IIMs now have courses on strategic communications or whatever.
Yes.
So I would say more opportunities. The profession has actually kind of grown immensely. People really understand the role it plays, critical role it plays. It's changing kind of dimensions because of new kind of influencer or kind of social media, everything kind of packaging into kind of integrated communications territory. All I would say is that I think homework is very important. Research is very, very important. When you are meeting someone, you should know about their organization, what they are trying to achieve. Can you kind of, if they ask any question, can you give takeaways in 3 or 5 pointers? I think that opinion is very, very important. Right or wrong doesn't matter. Can you curate 3 to 5 key takeaways? Even like when you are wrapping up a conversation or even introducing, what are the 3 things you are really, really good at? So I think in essence, what I'm trying to say here is that your confidence, your research, your homework, ability to summarize, eventually it's a content industry. We might call it a PR industry. Even I call every brand is a content brand. Everyone is trying to influence through their content. Starbucks is also selling an experience through curating that experience with content. So yeah, I think I would just say that be very good with different formats of content, be it audio, be it video, be it text. If you have mastery in these 3, great. If you have mastery in 1 and you are average in 2, better. But if you are, in today's day and age, if you are good in 1 and 0 in others, challenge is a big challenge. So you need to be kind of, because of technology coming in, you need to be good at more things than maybe we had to be when we started.
Yeah, Garima, so you have already shared a very interesting definition of PR with the students present here. So would you like to share more on this?
Yeah, I want to build on what Aman and Aman are saying. They're very kind. They're very kind. They told you all the tricks and tips of how to show up in an interview and crack a job, right? I will just take one step back. For a very long time, I used to say this to my clients also, and I used to say this in classrooms also, that public relations, PR is not a sales function. It supports the sales function. It's a marketing function, this function, that function, whatever. At the end of the day, it's about selling. When you decided to do PR, journalism, marketing course, whatever, you sold it to your parents, right? Sab yahan pe ek dusre, like, have you been on night outs, guys? So far, give me a raise of hands if you have been. Oh, I've got a very good crowd here. Have you been out on dates? First initial date at least? Appreciate your honesty. Have you had to put up a fight with your mom at some point of time to wear something that's more revealing to her sensibilities than yours, girls? Yeah? Did you sell these? You sold the fact that, oh, I'll be safe, I'll have a friend, they'll call you back. Oh, no, we're going to do group studies. Oh, please trust me on the... You've done sales? Yes or no? You've gone on dates, you've sold yourself as a prospective partner? Yes or no? You've submitted an assignment late and sold the fact that you were sick and genuinely could not do it? Yes or no? Yes. So interviews are also selling yourself. I just need one thing for all of you to do, because somatically your body will remember, baki tum sab bhul jaoge. Give me a raise of hands. Everybody raise your right hands. Give me shimmy hands. I want to see these hands shimming, otherwise I'll not go further. Yeah, good. Do that, do that. Now make a lamp. Make a lamp. Yeah, this is the lens through which you see the world. Till the time this lens is outward, inward. Do this. Outward. Repeat after me. Outward, inward. Outward, inward. Kya ho raha hai? 1, 2, 3. Outward, inward. Outward, inward. Faster. Outward. Very good. Lovely. When you go for an interview, the outside world is going to evaluate you on certain metrics. How are you dressed? How are you talking? Are you talking sense? Are you sounding intelligent? Do you know what job you are here for? What do you want in life? What salary do you want? What position do you want? What agency will you work in? But if your inward is hollow, you're not knowledgeable, you've not done your research, you've not dressed a certain way, you're not looking the part that day, will you make it? That's it. It's just about selling yourself. And that's how you're going to land your first job. Uske baad kya chahiye, that's a completely different story for moving up the ladder. But the point is, the first job is about first impression. It's about knowing what you want. And the more you know yourself in this journey, you will be able to land a job that you want to sustain and thrive in. So for me, honestly, as somebody who's been in the industry for almost 2 decades, it's not just about that first job, yaar. Wo lag jayegi. Uske baad kya? Right? It's also important for us to talk about that. Would you like us to talk about that a little?
Thinking, yaar, pehli to dilwa do, yaar. Baki to dekh lenge.
So let's ask them and ask, what would you guys want us to... We can also take questions, right? Or
Yeah.
We'll
At the
do
end.
that after.
Yeah,
I think
after
he
that.
has
Yeah,
10
discussion.
minutes for that.
So, okay. So the next question we'll take, like, as industry leaders, you all have worked with both formally trained professionals and those who have entered the field through practical experience. Yeah. So how do you see the balance between academic qualifications and real world exposure? And also, like, does a degree provide an edge, or like, do internship and all the job learning play a big role in the successful career in PR and communications industry? Okay, we'll start with Aman.
No. Okay. So, I mean, according to me, I think qualification does play a role. And I'll give you a little example. You know, any organization which employs consultants, there's a certain value chain that is there. So management consulting is perhaps right at the top. They do the strategy for the organization. They are paid the top dollars. After that, you have you know, people like maybe merchant bankers and all those kind of people, investment bankers who are actually telling you about deals. Then you have, you know, at a similar level, you have Big Four people giving consulting, and then HR consultants, and then you have PR consultants. Now, you know, why in that value chain, the amount of money that is paid to a management consulting firm like a McKinsey is extremely different from what is being paid to a PR agency. It is because of the education and the qualification that people have in those organizations, and the way those organizations have groomed those people, and the product that they have created around that. So I think it is extremely important for, and so why an organization or a client pays you, not as an employee, but as an agency. They pay you because you help them achieve a certain business goal. Now, how much can you help them move the needle, it decides how much money you get. So as a PR professional, if you understand their business well, and not just like how to write a press release, if you understand their business well, and if you are able to have that intelligent conversation with them, create solutions that are actually helping their business grow, where you are helping them moving the needle for the objectives that they had employed you for, is when you are extremely successful. You sold yourself, your organization can demand premium from the client, and you will be able to position yourself, as a true consultant rather than somebody who's called at the last stage when there is a press conference happening, chalo PR वालों को बुला लेते हैं, या media coverage होनी है, PR वालों को बुला लेते हैं. So that qualification or the education plays a very, very important role. And that's what I said when you're going for an interview, make it your habit to read, and read. Know the industry, know the organization where you are going, and how you are going to make that contribution.
Personally, I don't look at academic qualifications at all. I usually look at the skill set the person is bringing and the problem statement I have, this person to solve. So I've done a lot of such hiring in the past, today as well, and some work, some don't work. But having said that, when they work, they are gold. Because people who don't carry requisite, when I say requisite, they might be coming from a different field, they might be underqualified, so they have more hunger. And if they're actually doing their assignment well, that shows they have a command over the skill set you require. So I've never gone, with academic qualifications because I feel that's kind of an outlier. Yes, you can get right people with right academic qualifications, but there is no guarantee. And I would say there is lesser guarantee. And it is also because maybe there is a gap in terms of what industry requires and what is being taught. And that gap has been existing always, but I think it is widening more, which is my concern, big concern. And I think it is also maybe because the technology, the AI adoption, a lot of things have come in the last couple of years, which kind of also maybe the academia could not foresee. And when any organization becomes bigger, the elephant is difficult to move. So I would kind of want my academic partners to kind of reinvent themselves, because every day we are inventing ourselves. And I think as you people who are trying to kind of get that first job or, the best job you want for yourself, I think you need to be well prepared for what the requirements are of the industry. And that doesn't mean a qualification, I can tell you this.
So, Garima, what's your take on this?
Thank you so much, Ritika. Guys, for me, this thing is very clear. So, of course, we've heard the voices that, yes, the institution you're coming from matters to some organizations, to some it won't. One thing that's going to be with you forever is your portfolio. For me, the day you enter a professional course where you're prepping to be in a job after this, we can, we can talk. I don't want to use this term blame, but yeah, we can put the monkey on the back of the academicians. We can put the monkey back on the curriculum makers. We can put the monkey back on the back of an AI evolving too fast and we not being able to catch up. But honestly, it's like I said about turning inwards. and preparing your portfolio. For example, if I go to a classroom, and I've been in the industry for 16 years, right? So I've done hiring, I've seen what works, what doesn't work. But now when I go and teach a class, and there is a class of 70 students, the ones who are going to connect with me on LinkedIn later on, the ones who are going to stay in touch with me, the ones who are wanting to come to an event like this, automatically, I would recommend you more, right? So my point is, you got to take your power back and start building your portfolio. Like Aman is saying very early on, he was writing. Left, right, center, he was producing content. I'm sure that today comes handy. Do you have a blog? Do you have a LinkedIn presence? Do you, like Aman said, read? Do you listen to the right kind of audio content? Whatever works for you. Do you watch the right kind of movies? Do you take lessons from these movies? How many of you did a deciphering of the Mahakumbh marketing strategies? It's globally right now becoming a marketing case study in how civil law and order is kept, how cleanliness is maintained, how marketing and PR is done at a globally, at an event where 40 crore population was in a mobile, situation. So I don't know what, it's very easy to say that, the education institution needs to do this, the teachers need to do this, the technology does this, blah, all of that is true. All of that was true even when we came in. When I entered the profession, I'm sure more so for the both of you, we used to flip 20 papers in the morning, yeah. हमारे पास कैमरा वाले फोन नहीं थे. We used to then stand in queues to get them scanned. We used to then make a report. Something that today takes you 10 minutes used to take the 2 hours of our mornings every day. Yes, that enriched us. But today, if you're saving on the rest of the hour and a half, then where are you using it? On a chai sutta break? Or on upskilling yourself? So the power is in your hands. You want to say something to that?
I think, what Garima is saying, I think still those traditional ways of doing research work,
Yeah.
if you do that, I can guarantee you, you will produce amazing results. People are just running away from doing the fundamentals. You ask a Virat Kohli, he will be going to the drawing board, Everyone goes to a rough patch, even the biggest of players. They will go back to homework. If I have to go back and do pitching, I'll first read at least 10 stories of a journalist, what the last stories were, is there a trend I see before I go and pitching. I won't go just blind. So I would say that, your homework is very, very critical.
True, and Aman, at that point of time, अगर हमें किसी को pitch करना, like if you had to pitch a story to a journalist as a PR person, 2-3 दिन तो phone number निकालने में लग जाते थे यार. You are cutting on that cycle because of technology, but that can be a boon or a bane depending on how you use it. You can also frustrate this journalist by sending him messages, DM on Instagram and Facebook where it's not entertained, versus you can professionally show up at a LinkedIn profile and spin a story so beautiful that the journalist really wants to come and get it from you. So all I'm saying is, as students and as academicians, as teachers, as young professionals, the power is in your hand, yeah. You can choose to look at challenges and you can also choose to look at opportunities. But opportunities are multifold and none of us are denying that. All we are saying is, thoda mehnat to karna padega. Yeah.
So I think it's a very great advice all of you have shared with the students present here. So I'll just open question for the audience. Anyone from the audience would like to ask any question from the panelists? Anyone? This session is for you students.
So as Aman sir stated that there is a gap between the academics and the industry. So I just wanted to know that what if a student is in a particular institute and he has to gain some type of skill set. So unlike some of the students who are in good institute and all, how can student work on his skill set? I mean, apart from what the institution is teaching, but what he can do from himself?
I think Garima has answered that. Every institute is good. Trust me. What you make out of it. I didn't start with a A-listed publication. I was in a school. I didn't know how to speak English till I came here in Delhi. I couldn't write English properly. So I think it depends on you. Eventually, how you want to improve every day. And I can tell you stories of people who studied with me. We stayed together as journalists. The rigor they had as journalists, My friend who is now manages the edit page for Hindustan Times, he used to literally like sleep every night listening to BBC radio for 3 hours. In the daytime, he was reading newspapers. So it was a work of a lot of years where he is there today. And we were not in a very A-listed institution when we studied our journalism as well. So it depends, it starts with you. If you have hunger, you will find your mentors. Could be inside the institution, could be outside the institution.
Anyone else from the audience?
Good afternoon, respected panelists. My question is, if you were 20 again, what would be the one advice you would give to yourself so that one thing that we all can imbibe?
I don't mind. I don't mind being 20 again with the money that I have today.
Money is important.
So, see, I'll tell you, in fact, a lot of mistakes I can talk about myself I made when I was 20. And one of the mistakes was this only, that probably I always think that I should have gone to a better college. So that's one. Second thing is that probably I should have read more at that point of time. That would have given me a great kickstart from a very, very early stage. I think these are the things that I would say. But if you have a lot of money, then you go here and there. So it's better not to have money at this stage.
Yeah. And I'll not lose this chance of being 20 again, right? So I'd love to add to that. If I was 20 again, I would take more risk. I would be more outdoors. I would physically involve myself with things that are happening in the world rather than sticking to my own group. That's definitely something that all of you must do. You should find mentors very early on, and I'm not saying boring people, right? If a stand-up comic is your mentor, so be it. If somebody like Baman Irani who started his second innings at 40, he's your mentor, so be it. Ghot ke pi jao, wo kya karte hain? But be outdoors a little more, move your body a little more, and meet different people, travel on a budget. Good, you don't have too much money. But backpack and travel. Fight with your parents, with the institution, take leaves, bunk if you have to. Travel. Experiential learning, guys. Okay, when I say risk does
Garima,
not
you are
mean-
in teaching and we are in the profession.
Yeah, but see, because what life can teach you outdoor, like outside of a classroom, at almost 40, I'm taking these risks. In the last year and a half, I've gone on a 13-day trek. I've gone out and done Khatro Ke Khiladi like training camp for 6 days. And I'm genuinely telling you that that's changing my relationship with who I am. So please, time se kar lo. Hai na? And keep health on your side. Definitely. Because a lot of conversation of mental health, but please guys, it all starts with your body. Your body starts giving the signs of everything else. So mental health, physical health. I'm not saying fancy, toxic, blah, blah, whatever. Make friends, go out, travel, outdoors, health. Very important. Sab ho jayega baki ka.
I think Garima has spoken on behalf of all the people in 20s right now and what they want.
I'm going to say I feel 20.
Tell them that. Like he was at Olympics representing us.
No, not at Olympics, but yeah.
Arre, tu-
I was playing in a different, but not, I was seeing, yeah. Anyways, so I would just say that travel a lot more. You won't get this kind of time when you kind of grow up. And I think be grateful for every age of life. Basically, what I've learned is, being grateful for wherever you are. In the sense, at times, we feel, okay, when we will achieve this, we will do this. oh,
ऐसा होता नहीं
we
है।
should have done it in this in school. ये सब नहीं होता. Be happy, be grateful for where you are. And I think once you do that, you'll be at peace with yourself and you'll enjoy more of your life.
Yeah, live in the present. So yes, thank you so much all the panelists. I think our time is up. So I think all the students are going here with great insights how they can kickstart their journey in the communication industry. So round of applause for all our panelists. Thank you so much.